What have I done?
Roll it, make sure it's pointed in my direction.
What do I owe the pleasure?
It concerns your malpractice insurance.
It's time to break down another Better Call Saul episode in order. Slippin Jimmy's about to resurrect his original scam, and I've got 58 details you might not know in Season 3, Episode 8, Slip. Mark goes back in a flashback that doesn't appear to use the bleach bypass effect, but that's fitting because this takes place during the Season 1 finale, Marco. We know this because their clothes and Jimmy's hair match parts of the scam montage. Marco brought in a Lake Michigan standpipe bag, and they reference the coin scam they just pulled off.
I got 110 right here. Sold.
We got 110 for a plain vanilla $50.
And the reason they're here is to find more special coins for scams.
Let there be light.
And then there was light.
They did both go to Catholic school.
It's where your mom used to work.
When we were in Jimmy's parents' store the first time, it was filmed at a real store. But this is a set built to match because they wouldn't be able to damage the real place this much. However, there are some differences like this wall with a vent, or some fine details of this wood. But crucially, the ceiling didn't have removable panels before. Alas, it was needed for the story, so they went with the inconsistency.
Remember when we used to ditch fourth?
Odell's Algebra 2.
Man, that guy was a butthole.
Okay, he found a burn he likes.
And your mom, I think she knew we were skipping, but she'd always stop what she was doing, give me a packet of Little Debbie's.
Originally, Marco was going to say moon pies, matching what we saw in their store, but Bob had the idea to change it to Little Debbie.
I think all those Little Debbies put him out of business.
Oh, so his mom was overly generous too. Ever think about that, Chuck?
$14,000 was just gone.
That Band-Aid box appeared in Gene's shoebox in the very first episode.
That's worth about $3. We polish it up. Run the coin game.
The props department brought in signs they saved from the last flashback and weathered them. That includes 1973 appropriate MasterCharge and Bank Americard logos, the names for MasterCard and Visa at the time.
Now you're gonna tell me what your coin collection was doing up there.
Guy comes in, buys old style.
There's that classic Chicago beer again.
He pays with a couple bucks and the George Washington silver. I tell my dad, Pop, this quarter is rare.
Not only rare, but 90% silver if it's from 1932 to 64.
It's worth $4. He hightails it out of here to give it back. He can't find the guy, so he tapes it to the side of the register. He's hoping that this guy will come back so he can return it. He starts talking about giving it to Father Mahoney for the poor box, so I make it disappear. And after that, every day after school, I'm checking the till. You know, something catches my eye, I stick it in the box, put it up there.
It's a crying shame they lost this place.
They never should have bought it in the first place. My dad didn't have it in him.
I don't know, Jimmy. You know, a lot of customers, everybody liked them.
Every deadbeat in the neighborhood owed him money. You come in here with a sob story, you leave with a pat on the back and a gallon of milk. He could have made it work. He's never gonna do what he had to do.
Peter Gould said that a motivation for this scene was to show why it's important to Jimmy to keep Wexler and McGill going. His parents had a business together, and when they lost it, everything fell apart. His dad didn't do what he had to do, but Jimmy will. This reminds me of the watch from Felina, explicitly explaining continuity. Mike's back at the spot of his truck heist from Nail, and Zerkish here is very perceptive because although the show created this billboard, they didn't realize they were going to reuse it and disposed of it after season 2, so the art department had to rebuild it from scratch. There are spots where it's not quite as aged as it was before, and there's the notebook we briefly saw in the last episode. Here's what he wrote while talking to Nacho. About 20 yards south of crash, time of day, afternoon, sun low. Walked 40 to 50 steps out, same side as sign, metal, watch. In barbed wire,
Wire.
tribal, shallow, and then fingers covering the last word. This is not Jonathan Banks in the montage. Surprisingly, they didn't even come up with his multiple mics idea until post-production. They just had that much footage of him all over the place. This part was shot on a different day right in front of the studios. Writer Marion Dare, credited as Heather Marion, grew up in a funeral home. Her dad, grandpa, and uncle were morticians, and her dad gave plenty of notes about this hand to ensure it's realistic. But now it's time to clear up what's going on here based on an interview with Tom Schnauz. This is the Good Samaritan Hector killed in season 2 who tried to help Jimenez. Anita's story about not having closure for her husband's disappearance inspired Mike to give closure to the Good Samaritan's family. That's why he changed his mind and decided to help Daniel, so he could talk to Nacho and make getting the location of where they dumped the body a condition of doing the deal. It is not Anita's husband Alan, although it's ironic that he's calling from Alan's automotive.
Tribal police, I found a dead body.
This is a real business and that's the real phone number, but it is not a gas station. The show appears to have put these gas pumps there, as Henry noticed that all the Street View captures going back 18 years never show gas pumps.
No, I don't want to give my name. I was trespassing. I'm a passerby.
I've recorded the location of the incident, times, and dosages of the medicine.
This is very impressive.
And?
Very impressive, Charles.
And? Look at the trend. Day 1, 8.5. Day 3, nothing higher than 5 1/4. And now it's all 3s and 4s. Clearly, with this kind of improvement, it won't be long before I'm back to work full time.
Adam Bernstein, who directed 8 Breaking Bad episodes, including the first 2 after the pilot, directed this. He directed this scene, which was supposed to be with Walt and Elliot.
It seems like something's missing, doesn't it?
What about the soul? But they were having trouble casting Elliot. So Adam said, well, my wife's a great actor, you could use her. And that is how...
What about the soul?
...came to be.
I haven't argued a case in almost 3 years, so that's next. I want to have a dinner party. I want 100 people in here. I want to be surrounded by friends, colleagues.
That's stirring.
Thank goodness for reasonably priced malpractice insurance that enables this kind of future.
I wouldn't have believed I could come so far so quickly.
By finally understanding the nature of his condition, he can finally take real steps toward getting better. And it's such a shame that it has taken this long.
I know rushing forward may be tempting, but it's important to give yourself time. You've just begun a journey that could take years.
My recovery might be speedier than your run-of-the-mill patient. Isn't that possible?
Appreciate every step forward, but modulate your expectations.
He is not modulating his expectations.
Let's talk about the night you first called me. Using a telephone must have been difficult for you.
All those radio waves right up against the side of your head.
What made it so important to talk to me that night?
What was so important?
I'd had an incident, perhaps the worst experience of my life.
I told you this was not it in season 2.
Yesterday morning was the worst professional humiliation of my life. There was a battery, a fully charged battery, almost next to my skin for the better part of 2 hours.
Hour and 43 minutes.
And I felt nothing.
And you felt nothing.
What does that mean to you?
This condition, if it's not real, then what have I done?
I have a lot of compassion for Chuck, which is easier to do when he's vulnerable like this instead of being a pompous jerk. I'm not a doctor, but this diagnosis of functional neurological disorder sounds plausible to me. And Dr. Cruz would like Chuck to take his time and explore the stress, trauma, or inner turmoil that causes him to feel these things rather than obsessing over quickly improving the metrics. In fact, because the episode was too long, they cut dialogue in which she asked Chuck to write down a word that describes his emotional life, and he wasn't getting it. He would offer words like itchy. Look at all those customers. Commercials work. I saw it with my please subscribe commercial, so thank you.
This is the busiest weekday we've had in the last 6 months.
At least 2 customers have gray hair, which is great attention to detail given the premise that grandparents are the target audience for Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, here's your partner.
I just got off the phone with the station. You don't even work for them.
I never said I worked for the station.
Remind me, how much is all this going to cost?
The first one was gratis. That's my treat. Now we're moving on to the elite package. 7 commercials for the heavily discounted price of $6,500.
Wow, we never heard the price he quoted them, but that's way more expensive than the price he quoted the person on the phone.
$4,600.
Or Phil from Duke City Recliners.
$3,500.
Although his previous offer of
50% off.
still made it a bit lower than those offers.
The station just quoted me $450 per.
That's for airtime only. Ask them how much they charge for production of 7 top flight TV commercials.
Why do we need 7 new ones in the first place? Yeah, what's to stop us from paying the station to just keep running the one we have?
That's not what we agreed to. How about that for starters?
How about we pay you $450 for the one that already aired, and we take it from there?
That commercial, it doesn't actually belong to you.
Want to play it like that? Okay. $450 is now off the table. Yeah, and that crew of yours? Yeah, just a bunch of UNM students. We can get those. We can get students. We can get students.
You wouldn't even be thinking about a commercial if it wasn't for me.
We're not going to pay you $6,500 for something that we can do ourselves. You got it? All right. Hello there.
Put that camera back up.
It's not gonna do a damn thing.
Don't give me any lip, okay? Just roll it. Make sure it's pointed in my direction.
The recording the accident thing is just like what the Lindholm twins did.
I get the whole thing on video.
Sorry to interrupt. There's no wiggle room here?
Wiggle room? We are with customers right now. Please, all right? Just go. Sorry about that.
We finally get to see a famous Slippin Jimmy slip and fall that we heard about at the start of this series. This stunt has a lot in common with the Walt falling stunt from Fly. This is Bob up until he starts to kick his leg. Then it's a stuntman who's really landing on a mat. Then it's back to Bob lying down. Although for this part, before they switched to show reactions, the creators said they overlaid Bob's face on the stuntman's body. Going frame by frame, you can see some funky looking things similar to the end of the Fly fall. There's slight camera movement during this whole thing, and to pull this off, Peter Gould said this was the first motion control shot they've ever done in Breaking Bad / Better Call Saul. And when you compare the end of the digitally enhanced shot to the next normal shot with Bob lying down, you can see some of the weird things they did to the surroundings.
Somebody call an ambulance!
Yes, an ambulance. That's a good idea. You guys have liability insurance, right?
They must not. That would suck for Jimmy if they did.
To our 4-corner strategy.
4 corners, eh?
We move on Colorado or Utah first.
Cheers to that.
Rich is a trendsetter.
Best Moscow Mule in the city.
We're back at Fork, which was inside the Hyatt, and Kim is not at all worried about running into Dale in spite of how disastrous that would be. Maybe she confirmed he was from out of town and we just didn't see it.
We ought to be having this meeting out on the fairway. I got a friend, Billy got one. Poor bastard's tangled up in some kind of an interstate wrangle between Texas and New Mexico. He doesn't know whether to shit or wind his watch.
He don't know whether to scratch his watch or wind his butt.
I know he'd love to talk to you.
Remember, Kim's got her hands full with Utah and Colorado.
Well, sure, but I gotta
Hey
think
there.
cowboy.
Kim, sit. I insist. I saw you got that branch approved on your original timeline after all.
Thanks to Ms. Wexler here.
Kim's one of the best. You're lucky to have her.
She sure is, and we sure are.
Patrick Fabian told himself Howard's being polite and it would be weird for him not to say hi, but this was unnecessary.
Seems like just yesterday she was logging hours in doc review. Well, I'll get out of your hair.
Would you excuse me for just a moment?
Kim, hello again.
Howard, sit. I insist. Sorry to interrupt. I just needed to give Howard something.
Folks, this is Kim Wexler.
Hello.
Pleasure.
We're officially in March now, and this is a Tuesday, so I think Chuck's on day 5 of his journaling. I mentioned an inflatable that Kim's address would keep changing, and here we see an example of that. Neither address has an apartment number, although eventually that'll happen.
Sorry to hold things up. If you want to give me Mr. Gatwood's number, I'd be happy to speak to him.
Paige doesn't like that, but her mood changes when Kim says,
I'll put him together with a firm that'll take very good care of him.
I leave it in your capable hands.
Look how Howard just keeps staring at Kim. That's gotta be awkward for the others at the table. There's the Civic Plaza that was prominently featured in Rabid Dog, and that's an anachronistic 2015 Nissan Murano.
What the hell is this?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You were very generous when I left HHHHHM, but it never sat right with me that you covered my law school loans.
Seemed to sit right at the time.
Now that I'm able to afford it, I want to pay you back.
You know what I'm doing in there? Damage control. Trying to repair the reputation of the firm after you and Jimmy dragged it through the mud.
It was all very convenient for you to ignore Chuck's illness when it suited you.
Although you exploited Chuck's illness when it suited you.
You made a mistake.
When you leave and stab me in the back, that's my fault. I'm not cashing this.
You really showed her. I'm sure she's crushed by not having to pay that.
Your debt is forgiven. But anything else, that's on you.
You know,
Jimmy,
Howard, sometimes in your line of work, you can get so caught up in the idea of winning that you forget to listen to your heart.
If you are hiding that from your clients, well, Howard, that's on you.
Patrick Fabian said Howard losing his composure in a public spot shows just how fractured he is inside, and that after 2.5 seasons of holding things in, he can't do it anymore. This song is called Cold Feet, but that doesn't count for, you know. But this does add 1 to the montage counter. Nacho's filling the empty capsules with ibuprofen, even though it might be harmful to people with heart problems, according to this article from McGill University. I believe the main intent is just to deny Hector the medicine he needs, so these might as well be sugar pills. I wonder if Daniel advised him on this process. The montage is reminiscent of the ricin montage in Breaking Bad.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Michael Mando thought Nacho should just dip the capsules in the powder and that the whole spatula thing was an unrealistic way to make the process look more laborious. The lyrics fit the circle imagery. But what if Hector's pocket isn't that open? I guess he at least needs to start on easy mode. He probably should just pretend he needs to tie his shoe. It looks like Mike struck again. And this is bound to happen in a shot like this, but there's a car from the future. Most likely a 2014 Plus Jeep Grand Cherokee. Although these doors are reminiscent of Walt's Naked Shopping Trip, this is not the same place. However, the creators said they scouted this store to be used for the Breaking Bad scene, but decided it was too upscale.
White sign, red pepper, purple sweater.
Excuse me.
Brown wood.
This is a real therapeutic technique to take your mind off a source of distress. Some even call this grounding himself. Also, his mouth is saying something else at the end of
Purple sweater. Sweater.
It seems like Chuck has his favorite newspaper,
Financial Times,
as a security blanket. There's the Two Modern Lays logo again. As for other anachronisms, there's at least some of the Rice-A-Roni logos. Voss Water, which existed but wasn't yet sold in grocery stores. Shock Top, which didn't exist until 2006. The Two Modern Bud Light logo, and even that NFL logo, and probably 100 others. It does look like they adjusted prices to be accurate for 2003, though.
Yellow bananas, green grapes, oranges. Where would I find this? Soy milk? I'd like to try soy milk. Just a splash of soy milk.
Just past the freezer aisle.
It's gotta be minor, but writer Marion said they pulled the freezers closer together and put that cooler behind him to make this look like more of a challenge.
Courier on the way?
20 minutes.
Great. What's
Should we be able to hear this considering the...
Soundproof walls, what with the drilling and the pain and the whatnot.
Maybe. It is quiet in the office, but his amp definitely isn't turned up to 11.
What's that?
It's the Richie Blackmore signature Strat.
It's a Stratocaster, not just any Strat.
By the way, the signature is up here, and he's appropriately using it to play Smoke on the Water from Richie's Deep Purple. Bob can play the guitar, but he wasn't here in order to keep the recorded dialogue clean.
I sold the rest of my ads. They're so impressed they threw in this baby.
So in addition to the guitar, I guess they gave him $6,500, which Jimmy said was
less than the price of that Richie Blackmore beauty you got on that rack.
Considering inflation, this is par for the course for Slippin Jimmy.
One good fall, he'd clear $6-8 grand.
Signed by the one and only Richie Blackmore.
I hope he realizes he didn't personally sign this.
Lying on the floor helps you with your fingering?
Oh, I fell.
Perhaps this is why he'll later make a habit of using a chi machine.
When did this happen?
Yesterday.
I saw you yesterday. You were fine.
That was Tuesday.
This doesn't really make sense because Kim's lunch meeting was Tuesday and we saw this after Jimmy's accident.
You picked up clean clothes, remember?
Kim continues to work too much. Both Bob and Ray were really sick in this scene and you can hear it in their voices.
Look on the desk. There's something for you.
Jimmy didn't stop at the rocking chairs. He even has knitting supplies in his office.
That's my half. It's good for the next 6 weeks. So at least we can stop talking about that. Sorry. My back hurts like hell and people suck.
Of all the swaps in this series, this personality swap is pretty unexpected. Chuck wants to be around people and throw big parties, and Jimmy's isolating himself.
You don't have to push yourself like this.
Meaning?
I could cover our expenses for a while.
I appreciate the thought, but no.
A man provides.
I'll do what I have to do to take care of my half.
Remember his speech.
Never gonna do what he had to do. End of story.
End of story. End of story.
End of story.
I mean, you believe me, right?
Yes.
There's another Hawaii magazine.
Is it too late to get a hold of the courier?
I can call.
Cancel it and get Billy Gatwood on the phone for me. I thought I might have had to refer you to a colleague, but I think I may have a solution to your problem myself.
Kim must not believe Jimmy and is worried about their expenses. Or she's just burying herself in more work to distract from their dysfunctional relationship.
Chuck. Howard. I knocked, but there was no answer.
How many times?
Are those groceries?
I decided to go for a little walk.
There's only one Triangle Grocery, so in real life that's a 20-mile walk in each direction involving going up and over the Sandia Mountains. Chuck really is doing great.
What do I owe the pleasure? It concerns your malpractice insurance. Well, we should sit and talk it through.
I'm Batman.
No, you're not. This is a stuntman this entire shot. You can kind of tell when you boost the exposure. Michael Mando said it was about 2 in the morning here and freezing, which is ironic considering the next scene. But it's not yet clear what he's doing. There's conveniently tape on the spot Nacho's hitting, presumably hiding a pre-existing hole. We go from the hiss of gas to the sizzling of the grill. Aha, this is why Nacho was on the roof. There was snow visible on the ground that they had to clear out as they filmed this in January. Even for March in Albuquerque, it shouldn't be that hot outside and they should open the door. Each time we return to this restaurant, they up their coffee game. We went from nothing to a coffee machine and an Enrico of Italy espresso machine. By the time we get to season 6, I think it's going to look like this. Hector's cup is magic. As the camera keeps switching back and forth, the handle is always pointing to our right. Ouch.
You're good.
I hate to say it, but Hector's method did get results. Although Crazy 8's stash is full of fake bills.
See you, Nacho.
The makeup department covered everyone in vitamin E oil to simulate sweat.
The nectar.
He's checking the feel and the strip, just like what he taught us.
What? This one looks funny. Bring it here.
It's funny that he chooses the one real bill for this, although that would still fit the story.
See, is it fake?
No, it's mine.
I'm so sorry, Don Hector.
Oh, he is doing the Walt approach, at least for taking the pills. He's lucky the manager didn't see that, although perhaps he'd keep the secret anyway.
Carlos?
Nacho.
Carlos's 20s also have the fake scroll on them.
Took care of that problem over on 5th.
Do me a favor. Shut up. You're good.
See you next week.
Nacho's careful to swap the correct number of pills, but he dumps out 12, grabs 13, and puts back 3 for some reason. So Hector's container now only has 10 pills. Nacho taking a bathroom break would have been a good idea.
I got IBS.
If he didn't think he could pull off acting like Jimmy, there's a product just for this situation.
Easy Cream is an all-natural diarrhea inducer in an easy-to-use gel form. Just rub the gel on your hands and face, and if you wish, your feet. The fast-acting mint-flavored cream creates a foamy brown mess inside your body. You'll have wet, painful diarrhea in seconds.
Nacho's watch has said 2:42 throughout this scene, which matches the clock when we saw it, but that was over 5 minutes ago.
An extra more espresso?
This is the Hills Bridge, which wasn't built until 2006. As usual, this graffiti was added by the show.
Oh! God damn it! McGill, keep it moving. Sir,
this is my kid. Mom just called.
You're not supposed to be on the phone.
I know, she's in the hospital. Please, can I go?
Sure, you can go, but you're not getting credit.
I have to get my hours done this week.
Sounds like that's on you.
Want to get out of here? How much is it worth to you?
What?
Come on, you want to get to your deal or what? The man's got to make a living. I'm just saying, the way you make yours rhymes with mug mealer. $700 and you're gone.
I don't have $700.
You got a couple grand in your sock.
The hell's this?
Like many lengthy outdoor scenes, this one has some cloud inconsistency, and close-up shots in the shade that don't match the harsh shadows we see in the wide shots.
Hurt my back.
You're not getting your hours.
I'm gonna sue you.
You signed a waiver.
With the city. But I'm not suing the city. I'm suing you, personally.
You can't do that.
This is the land of the free and the home of the lawsuit. I sure as shooting can. I think I'll bring that guy in with me and make it a class action thing.
Jimmy is bluffing. For example, a class action lawsuit requires more plaintiffs.
Intentional infliction of emotional distress. I can also sue you for failure to approve community service hours. Maybe I throw in failure to treat and mitigate damages suffered by me.
You're full of shit. The waiver.
In a personal lawsuit, it's a fart in the wind. You ever hear the expression a fart in the wind, kid? Like a fart in the wind. A lawyer's gonna cost you about $90 an hour. You're looking at 8 to 12 months of litigation minimum. The judge and I will gladly spend the next 5 years in the courtroom. But for you, it's expensive. It's very, very expensive. You can go to your wife, you can explain to her you're about to lose your job, your pension, whatever pinhole of a reputation you've got at the bowling alley on Glow Ball Sundays.
Another bowling mention, although not specific enough for the colorful references counter.
Or let my friend here visit his sick daughter and you can let me rest my back. Oh, and we keep our hours.
Fine, asshole.
Some Jedi mind shit right there.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
You go. I'm out. Yo, I'm on my way.
So let's see. Trying to earn money the honest way wasn't working, but this and this worked great. Jimmy might be slipping down a dangerous path here. Some might even call it a terrible option street. Or maybe a bad choice road. That has more of a ring to it. Here's the moment where they leverage this new set to film the short bit from the last episode. The light inside the drive-thru was accidentally left on, so they digitally turned it off in post.
I've got cash I can't spend, about $200,000. If anything happens to me, my family will never see it.
Anita's story really got to Mike in more ways than one.
Now, it seems to me you opened this place to solve a similar problem.
And you think that solution could be applied to you?
As a one-time arrangement.
It would be unwise for us to be publicly associated.
Because of the Salamancas. I'm thinking a paper transaction.
Perhaps there is a way. One with a degree more difficulty.
Would 20% overcome this difficulty?
I would not take money from your family.
And so begins a long-term partnership. He'll have everything he needs and it'll all run like clockwork. It'll be perfect as long as nobody comes along to blow it up. Congratulations and thanks to the new 1-year members! No Fail Hail, JB Leonidas, LL, Steve Rogers, Phil Swift, Shebas Dev, Rafa Coleone, Chloe Medusa, Ismail Valenzuela Barragan, Green Ducky, Kaiju Bee, Melodies, The Raikari, Huey Wyatt, Miles Meyer, Labakis Pepe, Nawil, Brand Prost, Jagged Jason, Epicvale Gaming, Garo, Emetma, Murgoose, Occult 14, Tenex, Elijah Diaz, Joel Farrelly, Bruno, Rosh, Adam McLaren Coots, Gabriel Martins, Terry, Zarzero, Stimuse, Chulane, Geraldo, Herpaderp, Wendell from Breaking Bad, Megaman 97, Solaire Lover 420, Gabriel S, J-Man Space, Hunter Wiggles, Eggplant, Jaga, Bonesaw is ready, 47, Scott Gnome, Nathan for the Lulz, Lorena, Skatebush Media, Florian Gielibert, Holiday Penguin, Derek Russell, Willius 19, Tom Shady, and Yannick. And to the new 6-month members! And Pizza One, Delta Fizzy, Chilp, Dr. Crude, Logang 1895, 5, Dying JDM Heart Shelter, Jake Scully, Hannon, Dr. Fingerbum MD, Wraith King, Maymay, Zorg, Dixirian, Caleb Villa, Totally Not Uni, Link NN4V, Stardust, Suffering Saint Sebastian, Bjorny, Almadbro, Partridge, Webstar, Bone Cobras, Adam 1, Sam Dark, Paula Enrique Oka, Forward Today, Flapjacko 404, Waza Decken, Jul Donovich at 0, Ryan Chiria, Mohan Saxena, Jared Haygood, Ellie, Austin Murphy, Vaporium, February, Alyssa, Kaiser, Beat Rice, Nut Guy, Stinky Balls, Benny, Songbirder, Ubermeek, Maddie, Illegal Seagull, Aldo and Kai, Heinrich 3141, Woofwogan, Naomi Wave, Pleat, Cameron Kenneth, Wizzless Redicus, Simone Allegra, Eric Snow, Yalu, iBoy, Lost Pixel, Crab, Nathan Penry, Certified Tomfooler, Adam vs. Movies, Aiden Curry, Andrew Brown, Mawa, Rausan, Morgan's Toy Box, Breakfast Eddie, Answers Time, Minagio, Mishomoto, Shmi Store, Cabell, Danton Fanton, Andy B, It's Mishki, Dylan F, Galactica, Deadface, Adu Tidades, Les Beans, Burnt Fuse, Liberty, Jessica Grace Kane, Cameron McConnell, and Mason. Next time, we go from slip to a very dramatic fall.
I'm Batman.